Let's start with VW. Any good news?
Yeah, Francie, everyone was expecting bad news from the auto sector this quarter and looking into the guidance, so I tried to find a couple highlights here and there, and I think I found a couple of them here for Volkswagen, where they managed to actually get revenue up about 3% in the first quarter. They managed to sell more cars than they did a year ago, which is more than you could say about Stellantis and Mercedes, up about 1 percentage point. And when you look at the regional breakdown, there's some interesting facts within that as well. Europe was up 4%. That's an encouraging sign, a strong market for Volkswagen. South America up 17%, and that just about exhausts the good news that we got out of Volkswagen today. Because when you look at North America in the United States, down 2%, and to China, key market for Volkswagen, of course, down 6%. When you look at their operating profit from a year ago, down about 40%. When you look at their margins are getting consistently eroded, came in at 3.7%. That is 1 percentage point below what the analysts had expected, and that's down from 6% from what it was a year ago. And in terms of guidance, in terms of what Volkswagen can expect, telling investors what they should look for in the rest of the year, they say that their guidance is unchanged, but we're actually not taking into account any of the effects of tariffs, which as far as I'm concerned is basically scrapping their guidance, which is something very similar that we've seen from some of the automakers earlier throughout the morning today.
Ollie, what about Stellantis and Mercedes?
Yeah, again, sort of negative outlook when you look there. Overall, you look at the Stellantis number, their revenue was down 14%. They've withdrawn their guidance, saying the same thing as Mercedes-Benz, basically saying that the effects of tariffs are entirely incalculable on the bottom line for these car makers in these sort of coming months. North America for Stellantis, the key market. Of course, this is formerly Chrysler, down 20%. Europe, down 8%. Middle East, down 15%. South America, again, bright spot, up 19%. But you get the sort of picture here. For Mercedes-Benz, it's been a very similar outlook. Revenue was down 7%. When you look at their EBIT, down 40%. And again, this is all going down to this broader picture for the auto sector. They're withdrawing their guidance not just because of the direct impact of tariffs. Of course, this hurts these European car makers that are exporting cars to the United States, but this is a very cyclical industry. So when you have tariffs and when you have a trade war, you have a general slowdown across the globe. That is going to absolutely kill demand for automotive sector, not just in the United States because of tariffs, but globally. And that is what these car makers are ringing the alarm bell this morning. And you heard it very explicitly from Mercedes-Benz. I will give you one last light of ray for the Mercedes-Benz. If you look at their high end, the G-Wagon still doing pretty well, up 18%. The top end of their the range, the most expensive cars, highest margin stuff, still doing pretty well for Mercedes-Benz. But overall, a fairly negative picture.